everyone, and welcome back to another The Rat's Nest Book Club. I am the Rat, and this is The Rat's Nest. I'm joined as always by Kyle. Say hi, Kyle.
Hello, everyone.
We are back with
With
Bleach.
Peach.
With Peach.
It's pretty good this time around, let me tell you. We read chapters 252 through 286, and I just put in my notes, it's on the wiki or whatever, it said this is Arrancar, the fierce fight, which there were certainly some fierce fights this
There were
portion
some
of the
fierce
fight.
fights. I'd say that was a pretty accurate title.
So let me preface this a little bit. I said I would before we got into it.
Absolutely.
So originally, Brandon and I, we read this section back in February.
Yeah.
And we just, life happens. We've been kind of busy. We've done some other things we wanted. We put Beach on the back burner. We put on the back burner. And relatively recently, I'd say about a month ago is when I reread this portion. I reread it within a week. So it's been about a month. I read it. I remember everything. Relatively speaking, Brandon's read this a little bit sooner than I have, So we both just refreshed ourselves on it. And I'll be honest, I think the first time I read it, I had some more negative thoughts, but I think rereading it helped me appreciate some of the aspects I didn't like. And if I remember anything in particular I didn't like, we can get there. So that being said, we can finally continue our journey through Arrancar and Huecamundo. So shall we get into it?
I think that we shall.
Yeah, so let me. I'll just guide us with the notes here. So I think the first important section to talk about is Ichigo versus Dandori. There's some other stuff that happens, like we see one of Nell's family members following Renji, and Nell's the one, I forget the guy's name, but you got to find Nell. He's looking for Nell, followed Renji, and then we see the fight happen with Ichigo and Dandori. And how he reveals that he is 103 and that the 100 numbers of the Arrancars are counted as failures. And so Ichigo, when he first sees that, he's like, "Oh, you're 103. You're pretty weak." To which Dandori says, "No," and then actually has a good fight. Yeah. So, what'd you think of this section?
I enjoyed it. This entire little fight with Dandori. I think that it was really solid. I think that it was a pretty perfect intro fight for Ichigo in this arc.
Yes, it sets up a lot.
You get funny Ichigo, right, fighting, and Dandori is pretty much the perfect opponent because he's a guy, he wants to fight Ichigo at his strongest, right? And of course, he gets clapped the second Ichigo gets even a tiny bit serious.
Yeah.
Right? He stood no chance whatsoever. But he teaches Ichigo a good lesson because
I was going to say,
even after all that, he's still a decent guy. He teaches Ichigo, look, you can't hold back here. You hold back, you're going to die. You have to go in, you have to have that mindset of, I can't go back. And then not even that, he teaches him a good lesson whenever he spares him, saying, you have to be serious about this. Going forward, people aren't going to be as nice as me, right? You have to be ready for going forward. They're going to kill you, and you have to be willing to kill them.
Also, another thing I like is I'm pretty sure in the middle of the fight, he goes to attack Nell, and even then, Ichigo's like, "Hey, Nell's not a part of this," and he's like, "Dude, you're fighting for your life. You're fighting to protect yourself. You're fighting to protect your friends, and you got to be serious about the job that you're doing here. You can't half-ass this. You can't always show mercy in situations like this, because not everyone's gonna be a nice guy. No one's gonna be as chill as me, Dandori," he says before he gets executed by the Exquitas.
Yeah. It's basically because Ichigo, at this point,
he's pretty strong.
He's fighting Soul Society, right? In Soul Society, he's fighting against the Soul Reapers. They're going to fight, quote-unquote, fair. They're going to fight nice. They're going to be nicer.
They are people.
Right?
They are not all, mean crew. Some of them are, but not everyone is a mean crew. Even when he fought Kenpachi, Kenpachi's a bro.
Kenpachi's the GOAT, bro.
Kenpachi made it as fair as possible. He's like, I put an eye patch on and I wear bells to make it fair to fight. This is the opposite of that. Ichigo is in not a whole new place, but he's fighting opponents that aren't going to be handicapping themselves or making it fair, or ones that he can just talk down. Not that he has done that a lot, but you really couldn't, in theory, walk up to someone like Dandori or the others that we see, like Saruchi, which is next, and be like, let's just not fight. Why are we even fighting here? You gotta be vicious. You gotta be on the hunt, on the prowl. You gotta be like a panther, if you will. Funny foreshadowing.
No freaking way. Yeah, he's in a completely different league now than than he was in Soul Society.
It's a big step up from Soul Society. You're not just fighting Reapers who are, mostly good people. There's some that aren't, but like mostly good people. You're fighting these Arrancars who want who want to cause destruction and don't care about whether or not you have friends that you're trying to protect. And you're like, that's what we talked about a little bit before recording too, from reading my notes. Like, Dandori sets up some valuable lessons, and I think that, at least, in regard to Ichigo, like, that pays off very well in what we see in one of his later fights with a certain rim job. We'll get there.
So Dandori's fight was good.
Yeah, look at my notes to see it. I remember the few stand-up moments when Dandori's like, I want to see your mask. And, like, the second he does, Dandori just gushes blood. He's like, I should not have asked for that.
Bro, realized he's not built for this.
He was not cut out for the hollow mask. And then also, Nell is kind of creepy. Nell's kind of weird here. She spits out Dandori's attack. She just vomits on him to heal him. Nell is a weird case. We'll talk more about Nell later.
Nell is a curious little critter. I know something about Nell that you don't.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
I don't know any specifics. I just know that something is going to happen.
Yeah. And then we see that it was this guy, I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's the Scayel, Zale. I'm just going to call him Zale Aporo.
I'm just going to call him White Uryu.
I'm just going to call him Aporo. How about that? I'm just going to call him Aporo.
Okay, Aporo.
Yeah.
The Octava Esparta.
Yeah. Aporo. Where we see this Aporo guy, who we learn more about later, he sends these, Exequitas, I probably butchered that pronunciation, he sends them after Ichigo, despite what Aizen said, and they killed Dandori. And I remember there's the whole section where Aizen's like, hey, why'd you do that? You gotta trust in me here. And then we see Jin question him like, you're just doing it because you like seeing them fight. As according to my notes, he questions if Aizen's kind of getting off to this. You just love watching them fight, huh? Love watching them struggle.
Yeah.
And then, next big section. Yuryu versus Seruchi. I like this. This is a fun section.
Yeah. It was a solid little fight. She was hot. I like Uryu.
I liked Pesci's bit here. He just showed up, was kind of a goofball. His infinite slick stuff was pretty cool. And we get to see more of Yuryu's battle tactics evolve, where I remember there was one moment near the end of the fight where he's like, you're mistaken with one thing, Miss Soruchi. This isn't a blade. Every weapon we have is a bow and arrow. I think he says something like that. And then just proceeds to shoot her.
I screenshotted that because I feel like that's going to age poorly.
Yeah, let's see. I'm reading some.
It was sick to see him pull out the sword, though. It was cool to kind of get to see him in his evolved little thing, and I'm looking forward to whatever fight of his is next, because I think that this is.
Yuryu is
we saw him cool against fighter. The other guy.
Aporo, yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, but one thing that I kind of feel like is a little off with him is that it seems like every time he's in a fight, there's just something new being brought up of just some new device of how he's able to go toe to toe with people. I'm trying to think back to all of his previous fights and instances like that, but it seems like every time he shows up, he's like, oh hey, this is my new tactic that has never been shown before, and it's gonna help me get a leg up on the competition. It just feels kind of off, Yeah. I like how every time they're fighting, he's like, nope, that's not how it works. It's this, and then no, that's actually not. It's this. Because it was still a good fight. I just kind of noticed that how a lot of what happens is him bringing in new fighting elements.
This time because this is his introduction.
Yeah.
And so,
I'm being fair with
it. See how he fights. I guess we'll just have to see if it keeps happening.
Yeah, I'm being fair with it. I noticed it. I'm being fair with it though.
Yeah.
One of my notes is Pesci annoys the fuck out of Yuryu.
Jeez, that's so true.
Yeah.
I don't have too much to say about this.
No, there's not as much as there is in the because Dandori sets up very valuable lessons here. We talked about he sets up you got to be ruthless. You can't always show mercy. With this, it's just a fun fight. There's not much else to really sink our teeth into on this section. It's just a fun fight.
Yeah, and she's hot.
And that is true. And I respect it for what it is. The fight was fun. The flow of it was pretty neat to follow. I liked Pesci. I thought it was funny. Usually I feel like I'd get annoyed with gag characters, but I felt like Pesci was a pretty tolerable gag character with some funny bits, and his infinite slick stuff.
I like him more than the other guy.
The masked guy chasing Renji.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Is that the next section?
No, the next section is the little Chad thing, and I feel bad for forgetting some of it, but I'll just read what I have. So we see it's this Gatenbane Mosquita, like mosquito maybe, is Arrancar number 107, and he's fighting Chad. And then we see Chad pull out his, because he has the right arm of the giant, the one that we've seen him with a while, and then he talks about that's his defensive power, and then he has hollow powers because there's this little portion of it. Do you mind if I try to find it real quick? I think it's here. Let me see.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna worry looking at it. He talks and he's like, I felt like a familiarity with being here. He felt like a connection. He's like, yeah, because I have hollow powers, and I have the left arm of the demon. This is because his right arm's Gigante, and he has Diablo, and then he hits him with an El Muerte Death, and there's that really cool, that really, really cool panel of when he hits him, the wall has a skull behind it when he hits him as hard as he can. That was just a really cool moment.
Yeah. No, I really liked it. I liked Chad's whole little thing in this arc.
Chad is great. I think
that I hope that he comes back and does more later. Because it was cool, because it's like, okay, he's got a shield, right?
And the moment he
gets his left arm, it's like, okay, he has an offensive power now, so he just got an insane power boost, probably. He one-shots, basically, one of the old Espada, right?
And then he gets one shot.
And then he himself gets wiped. And it's like, that sucks. 'Cause I like Chad.
I heard that Chad, unfortunately, and I'm just going off what I've seen online. He gets shafted, yeah, and that's sad. And I hope he does a bit more. I'm holding out hope because I like Chad and I like these powers that he got. But yeah, and then his spiritual pressure starts to fade as everyone else notices. Oh man, he's dying. That sucks.
That's so sad.
I cannot believe Chad is dead. Now, after that, okay, we have a little interesting section here. This is the section where it's Okuriora and Orihime in the room, and they're talking to each other, and he's telling her that she needs to eat now to keep up her energy. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. So in it, just to recap it, he's talking, and he's like, there's no point in worrying about them. All your friends are gonna die here anyway. And then Orihime slaps him, which is pretty funny. And I like his reaction where he just calmly walks out and is like, if I'm back here in an hour and you haven't eaten that food, I'm going to force feed it to you. Goodbye, and just leaves. And the leaves are kind of flustered.
I think people would let him feed them.
What?
Huh? I thought it was a neat little scene.
You can't keep
where we
get
to see Orihime a little bit more. Her character being a very interesting one so far this arc.
She's been very, reactionary so far. She hasn't been very proactive. She's just been... granted, she really can't in her circumstances here. But,
yeah.
I like seeing her, slap Okuriora, just putting her foot down and be like, no, they're not going to die. I don't believe it. And then he calmly's like, okay, well, it doesn't matter what you think. It matters what happens. Bye.
Yeah,
and then just leaves.
Bro's literally like, facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah, and then
my gosh, now I'm gonna imagine Okuriora with a Ben Shapiro voice.
Now I'm gonna imagine him with a Ben Shapiro voice. Anyway,
about your feelings.
So after the funny slap scene and he leaves her flustered, we get Rukia running into Kaien, who apparently is the number 9 Espada.
Yeah. So this little scene, this little fight, I liked well enough, right? Ignoring the funny power scaling.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah. So
I thought that it was a fun fight because I think that it's a cool concept of, okay, this hollow brought back, experimented on, became this, because that's an interesting power to have the stuff that you consume, add to your own power, whenever he consumes Kaien.
And you can,
I
can
see the
tap into the memories of it and mimic whatever you absorb.
Yeah, and so coming back to Kaien and then having Rukia kind of face that again and having her overcome this, where Rukia's just kind of been like, you can kill me, right? That's fine. I would gladly give you my life to make up for what I've done. but I have to save my friends first.
Yeah, I'm not dying alone, and that's a big thing that is discussed later. I'm just looking through my notes here, just because there's some of the fighting that's out of order, but I'm just looking to see where I kind of like the feint at the beginning where he's like, "Yeah, it's me. I'm planning at striking against him, and we need to team up." And then the moment she kind of seems like she's letting her guard down, he goes to strike, and he's like, "Sorry, just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there.
Let's just throw it up in the air. It's right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I was just testing you. And then he's like, "Hey, can you do me a favor? I know I was just joking there when I started stabbing you and all. I need you to kill your friends for me. That'd be great. Thanks." And then she's like, "Okay."
That you don't even have to die now if you do
Just
that.
out there.
Up to me.
Killed your friends. Just throwing it out there. Yeah,
Let's just throw it up in the air. Right.
Yeah. See where it goes. What if you just killed all your friends? And then.
Indeed.
And then Rukia is like, "You're not really Cayenne, because Cayenne would never have me betray my friends." And then, because again, good introduction. Kind of like what you said. I like that she has to reface. It's not just a problem that went away after that arc. It's something that carried over, and it adds. It gives Rukia something very it gives her a very important story moment to go through while everyone else. Because we have the Sloruchi fight and the one where Chad fights. We're back to another one that has more weight to it and more significance, like Ichigo versus Dandori.
Yeah.
Because then in the middle of this, it goes back and forth between that, and then we get the start of Renji and whatever the big face guy. They show up, and it's
Rukia, and then we can move on.
Yeah. So let me read the rest of my notes here for Rukia's thing. They fight each other. So she exposes its true form and finds out that. Dang it. Sorry, my notes are a bit mixed up here. Yeah, she figures out that sunlight's a weakness to it. She exposes this thing's true form, and then they have a big a moment that we'll dissect in a minute here because I'm not a fan of it. And then at the end of the fight, she has her flashback to what happens when she is gonna die. She flashes back to when she's training with Cayenne and has that moment of, "I can't die alone." So yeah, she in the fight, to kind of recap what you said, she's willing to die for this. She's perfectly okay dying here to make amends for what she did all that time ago. But she has to protect her friends first. She's doing it to protect her friends, and she's determined to make sure that she doesn't die alone. Which I kind of like that as a thing for Rukia to go on with, the concept of not dying alone. You got to be there with your friends to the very end.
Yeah,
it's neat, and it fits in line with Rukia.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's kind of been more of her character. That's the thing. She's always been a bit more sad, I guess to say. And so this kind of simultaneously builds on that, while also helping her move forward. I think
also,
that it's done really well.
The entire point, or one of the entire the crux of Soul Society was she's going to be executed, and it was everyone else staking their lives to protect her. And she's even like, "Why are you doing that? You guys shouldn't be risking your lives for me." And now it's her kind of doing that in turn, taking that lesson,
paying Orihime back.
Yeah, it's her taking that lesson of well, even when I didn't want you guys to rescue me, you guys still did it. I'm gonna commit the same way, and that I really like that growth from Soul Society to now.
No, I think that's done very well.
What I don't like, funny power scaling. So, for those of you who don't remember, in one of the prior sections of the fighting, she shows up in no diffs in Arrancar, despite everything in the book stating facts don't care about your feelings. I don't care what you think of Rukia. Rukia is a great character. I feel that way too. She shouldn't have one-shot an Arrancar given what we've seen so far. I don't care. And in this section, and I wrote the number down, and I'll read my exact note. I put, let me find it. Power scaling bullshit go. Cayenne Arrancar reveals his true form. It consumes the hollows, and it releases them all at once. And he sicks an entire army of, and I quote, 33,650 hollows against Rukia directly. Fuck you, Kubo.
LOL.
And she manages to fend it off and stabs him in the head, and I put in parentheses, wow, so thrilling. Everything, I cannot believe, 95% of this fight, really good. It makes her face a demon from her past. She has an interesting fight with this thing, figuring out Sunlight's its weakness. We get to see her confront her emotions with Cayenne. Good, compelling stuff. Did not care for the ending of it. Did not care for it. I'm not saying it ruins the whole fight, but like, did not care for it.
This is what I was like, Rukia got wiped by one hollow and has done basically no training since.
And then beats an Arrancar, and then he gets to fight like 33,650 of them hollows.
I still think the most egregious example of power scaling is her no diffing that one Arrancar.
Yeah, no, like that. This is still pretty dull. I think both are equally bad. It's like putting numbers to it. He could have just said like, I have thousands of hollows. Like, that would have been whatever. I still would have probably not liked it, but like, it would have been better than 30. Like, giving it an exact number, no, there shouldn't be exact numbers for something like Bleach. There shouldn't be. I'm okay with power scaling to an extent. As I just hate when it gets down to like fine, minute details of numbers. Not a fan of it. But all in all, the section with her and fake Cayenne, whatever funny name you want to give it. The fake Cayenne. Good stuff. Really good stuff. Anything else you want to add to that section?
30,000 hollows.
That's so true. And then in the background of this, we see Renji and Nell's friend, the big face guy. They fall into a pitfall trap, and he fights Aporo. Not saying the full name because I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
So we see that Aporo's a bit of a smart guy. He's a bit of a smart lad. You know, he has glasses. He has pink hair. I could tell from the manga that he had pink hair.
Does he?
I'm joking because he has pink hair in the anime.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there might be. I think there might have been like maybe like a book cover or something with him. Yeah, I know there was one like him.
Probably was on.
He was grabbing his shirt in a very fruitlicious way.
He is kind of fruity, he can be kind of fruity, can't he?
And so the room that he's in, Renji can't perform Bankai. I don't remember if he can do like Shikai or whatever, but he can't use his like chain sword.
He can't use Shikai. He can't use Bankai.
Yeah, he can't use the Byleth sword attack. So let's see here. He can't perform Bankai, and Aporo says like, yeah, Ilfort, that was the bull Arrancar that Renji fought prior. He's the older brother to that guy, and he's like, I don't care that you killed that guy. Fuck that guy. I don't care. I'm just here fighting you now. Let me see what else I put, because I have the notes with because this stuff like happens in between what's happening with Rukia and Cayenne. So let me see here. Oh yeah, Aporo tells him like, oh yeah, Rukia and the number 9 they killed each other. Whoop.
L.
And that gets him really mad.
No one dies in Bleach.
That's so true. And it's an interesting start, and we can talk more about this one because I just remembered that like it continues on even later because it's when Yuryu gets introduced to it. So we could talk about the meat of it there. Like, this is just the introduction of you fell in the pit trap, you can't use your Bankai. How is Renji gonna bleach his way out of this one? I don't know.
Eventually.
For that moment. So then we get to the good stuff here. By that I mean we get Ichigo and Okuiora.
This was peak.
So
a moment from this is probably my favorite moment.
Is it the reveal of what his number is?
Yeah. So
okay, let me read the notes real quick. So just to set the stage here. All right. We see Ichigo going through, and Okuiora approaches him, and Ichigo walks away. He's like, I have no reason to fight you. You haven't hurt my friends. Still showing that softness that Dandori's like, dude, you can't be soft. Still showing that kind of like softness to an extent. And then he's like, I'm not going to fight you. You didn't do anything. And Okuiора's like, oh, I did a thing, all right. I brought her to Huecomundo. And then he starts to attack her. He immediately 180s when he sees that. It was a really good moment. We see them fight for a bit. And then Ichigo's like, you're the leader of these Arrancars. I'm fighting you right now. Even if I'm struggling a bit, you're the strongest they got. I could do this easy. Brandon, would you care to handle the next moment?
And then he's like, oh, you think I'm the strongest? And he kind of gets stabbed a little bit, and Ichigo's sword cuts his coat. And he's like, think again, chuckle nuts, it's revealed. He's number 4.
That's a really good moment where Ichigo, because he stabs him, and then Okuiora grabs the sword, moves it over slightly to show the number 4, and he's like, yeah, you're wrong. And Ichigo's world just gets shattered. He's like, we're in trouble, guys.
I miscalculated.
It's a cool reveal.
It's so sick Because like the entire time you have no clue what Okira's number is, and he's just kind of been going around. He's the highest, most influential, Espada that we've seen so far.
Yeah, thus far.
You just assume that he's gonna be number 1, like Ichigo. Then no, he's not. He's number 4. There's not 1. There's not 2. There are 3 other Espada stronger than him. That's
and
insane.
Also, it's once again Ichigo underestimating the opponent, and not just going all out, despite what everyone's been trying to literally drill into his skull. He's still Ichigo bleaching it up.
He does bleach it up, doesn't he?
Yeah, I watched Ichigo Never Kurosaki's. What can I say?
What can you say? Yeah, this was a great fight, just because, like, with that, the reader is experiencing the exact same
emotional distraught that Ichigo reveals, and he's like, "Oh fuck, that's not good."
You're like, oh.
And then we see, I don't know, what did he mean by this? I put in my notes, he awakened something big. That can mean a lot of things. Moving on. We see some mysterious group approaching Orihime, which is just revealed momentarily to be, or in a chapter or 2 later. Some Arrancars are just bullying the shit out of Orihime, and that happens in between Yuryu showing up with the Renji fight, which, once again, still not the full notes of it. Anyway. So I like the scene with. I gotta rephrase. I was gonna say I like the scene where Orihime is getting beaten up, not because she's getting beaten up.
Awesome. I love that scene too, Kyle.
I like it because of what Rimjob does. He just shows up like Rimjob's one of those honorable swordsman kind of characters, and I respect the hell out of it. I'm a fan of that archetype to some extent. Usually not. It depends on how it's done, but I like it in this case just because. It reminds me of Soul Society, where, in the case of Soul Society, you have all these people who are supposed to be good guys, with some of them going around having their own agenda. You have all these guys who are supposed to be bad guys, and some of them are just going around doing their own agenda. And I like Rimjob's agenda, where he obliterates those other 2. He decimates them, and then he's like, "All right, I'm repaying my debt because you got to repay the debt now. You got to give me back my left arm." And then he's like, "There's something that you could do for me," and then they leave. I like that scene a lot. Just him just being, pretty honorable swordsman guy. I like it. It's a good scene.
Yeah, no, I think that it's fun. It shows more of Rimjob's character ahead of his big fight with Ichigo that we're going to see later on. And
there's more to him.
It just kind of shows his prowess, and it also goes to show Orihime's powers, because she's pretty insane, right?
Those 2 were dead.
Yeah, no, she straight up revives one of them.
Yeah.
Like, that is insane. Because I think, if I remember correctly, Aizen described it as the rejection of phenomena. She could beat Wonder of You. She solos Wonder of You easy.
That's so true. It reminds me of, spoilers, there's a My Hero power that works like, it's not healing, it's reverting the state of something. I don't remember this exact wording, but someone, gets an arm blown off, you could rewind it to a state. It's very similar to that, where it's not healing. It heals in a way, but it's not healing. And you could just revive people because it's just rejecting that phenomena of death, which is a terrifyingly overpowered ability.
Oh, it's terrifying.
Mm-hmm. And I like how Rimjob wants to use it. He's not using it for anything nefarious. It's just, I want to fight a strong person. I am a king. Sorry, we'll save that discussion before we get there. But yeah, good little bridge between what happens. And then, oh my god, finally, so we see Aporo. I say finally because it's finally Aporo versus Yuryu and Renji. I don't remember the exact tactic they have, but they have a pretty good tactic planned. Where he's like, "Renji, buy me some time," and then he just shoots Aporo and he's like, "We did it." And Aporo was like, "Oh my god, you guys are starting to piss me off." He just eats one of his own men, I love that panel where he's slurping the dude's arm into his mouth, and he's like, "I'm gonna go change clothes. I don't want to fight naked. You two just stay here and figure out a plan. Lord knows you need that time." Just pisses off, just pisses off and leaves. My thoughts on Aporo are pretty positive. I think he's one of those fun, smart guy who looks down on the opponent characters, and he's not just all talk, because he has the feats, he has the durability, he has the threat to him to back up his big talk.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this fight just because getting to see Renji and Uryu interacting to be
together.
like a tag
Fun.
team. And I think they work together really well against him. And the fact that they basically won, for then he's like, okay, yeah, no, I'm an Espada. You're not killing me this easily. And then he gets out of it. And, it could be like, oh, well, you almost got... I mean, I enjoyed it because it's like he's smart, right? Like, that's his thing.
Right.
He's the smart Espada. He's the scientific Espada. Like, yeah, it makes sense that he would do that. Like, I mean, I really enjoyed it like that. I enjoyed getting to see...
No, it's a good way to...
and all that, and just kind of see, how they tackled this little challenge.
It's not tackled yet because he's still alive, but I get what you mean. Like, I get the sentiment. If that were any other basic like Espada, or like I forget what they call like the 100s Espadas, like if that were anything like that, then I feel like it would, unless it's just I'm stronger than your attack, like anything at that level or weaker probably would have been defeated. But in the case of Aporo, it's like I'm gonna heal and I'll come back and I'll fight you guys in a bit. Peace, and he just leaves. Like it's very atypical of normal behavior that we've seen from these Arrancars so far, and I enjoy that atypical nature of Aporo.
Yeah.
So let me see in my notes here what we got after that section. All right, Brandon, I think you know what time it is.
I believe
we get to, and I'm gonna say it, probably my favorite, or if not ultimately favorite, like one of my top favorite moments of Bleach so far. We get to the Rim Job versus Ichigo section. So, just gonna read off some of my notes here, then we can get full into details. He shows up to where they are. He has Orihime heal Ichigo, and then we see Okuyor shows up and says, fuck this, we are not doing this now. And Rimjob says, we're doing this now. Time jail, and time jails him for 2 to 3 hours. He uses an item. It's like some little cube thing, I think, and he like puts it in the hole in Okuyor's stomach, and like it sends him to another dimension or something. Like it's like a timeout thing. It's explained that's how this item, it's used to punish subordinates, and so given Okuyor's strength, he's gonna get out in like 2 to 3 hours. And then Orihime is supposed to heal Ichigo and Rimjob, and there's a moment in this I really like before the fight where she's gonna heal Ichigo, and Ichigo's like, hey, don't you need to get healed, dude? And he's like, I don't need to be healed. And Ichigo's like, why? Like, what? Are you not gonna get healed so you have a reason to complain if you lose? And he's like, alright, fuck it, heal me too. And then we get to Ichigo versus Rimjob, and I gotta say, Brandon, this was a pretty damn good fight.
I really enjoyed it. For me, I don't know if it tops Ichigo versus Byakuya personally, but I really love Ichigo versus Byakuya.
The only reason I'm gonna say it tops it in my book is if like it's the portion where Byakuya sustains damage because of Ichigo's hollow running amok inside of him, and then he regains control, and then like that is the one thing holding that back for me. I don't think there is a single bad moment of the fight. You have the stage set perfectly of Ichigo this entire time being told, like, you need to fight, you need to go all out, you need to fight, you need to go all out. And I don't remember this is said, but I have a personal theory as to why he doesn't want to and why he's trying to like hold back and reserve. It's because he's trying to avoid becoming something like Rimjob. Because, Rimjob, he loves fighting strong people. He does. He really wants to. That's his entire thing. He just likes fighting strong guys, and I respect the hell out of that. And in the case of Ichigo, like in the fight, he finally, he gets called out for it. Rimjob calls him out. He's like, you're here. You're here because you want to fight. Like, you want to protect your friends, but that's a reason that it's getting here to fight. You want to fight me. That's a motivator for why you want to fight. You enjoy it like I do. Come join me. Let's fight.
Yeah,
for real.
Let's enjoy this. Let's have a tad bit of fun, you and me.
Yeah, let's have a tad bit of fun, and then I'm looking to see what else there is. Like I just put verses because like the action is great, choreography is great. It does a mix of what I like in fighting, where it's like a mix of cool shit and strategy. I mean, there's a lot of that happening. Isn't there one moment where he goes to attack Orihime, and then Ichigo goes to block it, and he takes like some substantial damage? Is that what happens? Where like Ichigo has to block an attack that's about to hit Orihime or something?
Yeah. He like Rimjob throws some stuff at her, and he goes up there and he hits. And this is where we get into probably my favorite aspect of the fight, is where Orihime is like scared of Ichigo. This is the first time she's
Yes.
seen him holified.
Let me find that exact, because like this is I want to get like the full detail here. Oh, here it is. So it's chapter 282. We see he goes Panther King, which, by the way, that form is cool as hell. I love the Panther King form. Let me see if I can find the actual reveal of it. A Grand Rey Seto inside. Yep. Scrolling through. Sorry. He's already Panther King. They're fighting each other. Don't make me laugh. So they're fighting a bit, and then he sends an attack at oh no, sorry. So Orihime is watching, she's like, is that really Ichigo? And then we see him throw an attack that Ichigo goes to block. And then there's this, it's page 19 on 282. There's just this really disturbing image of him just staring at her with this creepy ass mask, and her just like with her eyes kind of like her pupils are shrunk, just looking at him. It just, it does a good job adding to like, it's really disturbing for her to see what he's becoming.
Yeah. No, I really like it because here we get more Orihime, right? And kind of her whole motivation for doing this originally was she didn't want to be a burden, right? She feels like Ichigo is getting farther and farther away from her, right? Just through everything. He's getting stronger. She's not strong enough, that kind of thing. And so here we go. Now Ichigo is like becoming something entirely different, like not even human. And
so here, I found the exact, it's chapter 283, it's like page 6. She says, I can't be afraid. I can't be afraid of ... But when I think of those eyes, I feel like Ichigo's turning into someone I don't know, or something. I can't see myself reflected in those eyes at all. And then she flashes back to like when she saw that he had like his spirit, right? That was her brother that had gone hollow.
Whenever he was holified.
Yeah. So she flashes back to that, and she was like, Ichigo ... Really good job, just cementing the fact that like Ichigo is becoming something horrifying through this process.
Yeah. And it's also it's coupled with Ichigo realizing like, I'm here to fight. Like he's realizing what Rimjob is telling him throughout all this, and it's paired with that. But we also know that he's here to fight, as he realizes, I'm not here to fight just for me, right? Yes, I want to fight. Like he acknowledges that, but I want to fight because I want to save my friends.
Yeah. Also, Nell has a really good moment here where they're talking, and Nell's like, what are you afraid of? Ichigo? Like, didn't you say he was a good guy? He's really nice. He heard your name. He tore into Ulquiorra. He's just a human. He didn't become a Soul Reaper and put on that mask because he wanted to. He's doing it because he has to. He's fighting for you. He's using that power, and he's fighting and bleeding for you. And I really like this line. If you won't cheer for him, who will? And then she has that realization of, at first, I came here to save my friends. When I heard they'd come to save me, I was glad. And then I saw Ichigo on the mask. Wasn't sure if he came here for me, but that shouldn't matter anyway. And then we hear her say, Ichigo, don't die. And then we get the really cool one-liner of him saying, sorry, Rimjaw, looks like I'm not allowed to sustain any more damage.
And then he doesn't.
Great moment. Great moment right there.
No, it's awesome because then it's the comparison of her realization that Ichigo is there for her, and Ichigo's realization of, I want to be here for them. I really like that, and paired also with Rimjob and him losing and getting his backstory.
Yeah, no, I'm looking through his backstory now, where and those become adjectives fall prey to even greater fear of regression. So basically, his whole thing is, I'm flipping through real quick. Like we see him meet with like other Gillians or Anchikas or whatever, and they're like, let's walk together, and they like imbue him with his power. So he's just trying to become like a king to stand atop of everyone else. It's such a simple backstory for Grimjow. Sorry, broke character. Rimjob.
I was gonna say who?
I'm so sorry. I think
that's interesting because then we get to see a bit more of the Hollows, and the Menos become the Gillians.
We see how they act,
and then Gillians, once they get strong enough, become Vasto Lords. But obviously they were made Arrancars before they became Vasto Lords, so they're all Gillians. that were made. Or no, the Gillians are the minnows. There's the Judicars, I think.
Yeah.
There's three things of minnows. There's the Gillians, which are like the base minnows. The Judicars, and then the Vasto Lords.
And one thing that I want to bring up, it's an interesting parallel here of like Rimjob's just the type of he just consumes and consumes and consumes for himself. Like I'm looking through part of his backstory now, and these other ones like consume us first, like just consume us, ascend, eat us. You were meant for something greater. Like he was set up to believe like you are the king. Like you will consume everyone else and stand alone atop like you will look down on everyone else. We see him just consume and consume and consume just for himself. And we see Ichigo go through a similar process, but for others. Like I would call it like consumption or like a battle, but there's more to it than just that compared to Rimjob. But he's doing everything for others, whereas Rimjob's just doing it all for himself. I mean, even this chapter is titled like "Devour the Flesh Alone." He's all this like talk code of like I am the king, and we see him finally lose. I'm just flipping through. All right. I'm at the last chapter of it, 286. It's the fight ends. See what happens. Let me get there. Yeah, okay. So the fight ends, he falls, they all go down. We see Orihime and Ichigo talking to each other, and then after that we see a little portion where Rimjob still gets up, and then we see them talk. And let me see. Okay, here's what I wanted to get to. Sorry. Cut it out, Rimjob. You lost. You may be some kind of king, eating everybody you hate until you're all alone. But what's the point of that? Wouldn't it be more satisfying to fight me over and over again? So let it go for now. I don't know. That kind of resonates with me. Of like, what is the purpose? Like, what are you trying to achieve? Devouring everyone else. Like, if you want to fight, why don't we just go stronger together instead of going stronger alone?
Yeah. And also,
it's a good message.
I don't think that this was Ichigo showing mercy to him so much. Rimjob has showed himself to be an honorable fighter.
Yeah.
He keeps his words. A quote unquote honorable fighter. He did go after Orihime, right? He's going to do what's necessary to win. But he keeps his words.
Have a good fight.
Like, he's not pure evil.
No, he's not. He is. I'd say he's evil alignment, but he's not pure. He's not that far gone.
Lawful evil.
Yeah, he has his own set of codes and morals, and he's willing to do. He's evil per se, but he's willing to do good, like protecting Orihime from those others, just to accomplish what he wants. Like he's a very selfish type of evil.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I like that final message of we can basically go stronger together instead of going stronger alone. Because if you go stronger alone, like who all will you have to reflect that strength upon? It's a good message. It's a good message. And yeah, you're right. He's not showing mercy. It's just more of like, can we just gentlemen's to a truce and we fight again later on? If we kill each other here, we won't be able to fight again. Let's just put our swords aside, go stronger together, not alone. Yeah. And then, unfortunately, the plot has to plot. Uh-oh, Noitoro shows up. Hurry up and die. That Soul Reaper is mine. And that's where it ends.
Yeah, no, I think that this was a great little section.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was good.
Some of my favorite stuff in Bleach. I mean, it's Ichigo versus Rimjob. It is probably the best fight so far. As I said, there's some stuff I didn't like with the Byakuya one, the main one, like that.
I completely understand.
Yeah, but there's really no there's no moment in this like particular portion of Ichigo versus Rimjob that I would call like bad per se. You got them fighting, you get his backstory. It's a pretty good backstory. You get to see how he just wants to become the king and like just devour everything, and you get to see how that kind of reflects with Ichigo fighting for others. Pretty good. Kubo, you did a good job, Kubo. Good job. You made one of the best fights in Bleach.
Yeah, no, and not only that, the reveal of Okiura being 4.
That was also
definitely up there with my favorite Bleach moments.
It's pretty good. And then yeah, that's it for this section. We finally got done with Bleach. I cannot wait to get back to you all in another like 6 months with the next.
Yeah.
So let me see where we're at with like the ordering of it. I know I put in my notes. It's God, where are they? In my Bleach notes. Okay, here it is. So we finished 252 through 286.
Yes.
Now we are reading chapter 287 through 315, which is titled Arrancar versus Shikigami.
Huh.
No idea what that
Shikigami.
means.
That's interesting. That's not. It's not versus the Soul Reapers. I don't think those are Shikigami. Maybe they are. Maybe that's the Japanese term. I don't think. I think.
I'm not gonna look it up because spoilers. But
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, because then we have the next one is Arrancar Decisive Battle of Karakura, and then the next two ones are both Arrancar Downfalls.
Downfall of
And then we'll finally be done with Arrancar.
No way.
That's crazy. Yeah, going into Arrancar, I was a bit worried, but all in all, so far, I'd say at worst, it's been like, okay, other than like the few moments of like her Rukia power scaling, like those moments aside, like on the whole, I'd say at worst it's been like average, and then at best it's been pretty good. Like I've enjoyed this section a lot, particularly this one. We had a lot of like building up to and expositional chapters previously, but now it's just we're into what makes shonen for the most part. We're in the fights, we're in the fierce fighting, or we're out of it now apparently.
But yeah, no, I think that this was great. I'm really looking forward to where it goes from here.
Yeah, predictions, at least like minor ones because it's hard to predict. I hope Rimjob doesn't die. I don't think he will. I don't think he will either. I hope not. He's a pretty cool character. I'd like to hope that this is kind of like the climax of his character arc in terms of like being evil, perhaps.
Maybe he becomes good.
What happened?
I don't know. Discord decided to leave.
That might have been Trevor.
Yeah, but anyways, it's the thing of where funny Rimjob man. It'd be nice to see him not be evil.
Yeah, I would like that. I mean, it's one of those where, like, he's a bad dude. He's done bad things. He might die to, like, be like, okay, well, atone for sins. That might not be why he purposely does it, but, like, as a reader perspective, like, okay, he's a bad guy. Maybe he won't, like, maybe that's his redemption, whatever. I don't know. Like, I hope he lives. I hope that, like, he can live and work toward the main. Like, I want to see him in 1,000-Year Blood War. I really do. I mean, everyone in Bleach, so many people talk about Rimchow, right? And I hope that it's because of his longevity also. Like, he's a great villain. He's a great character so far. I hope that we get to see more of him. And I'm not going to blame Kubo if we don't. It's just a personal thing. I want to see more of him. I hope
think
that
he becomes a main character after Ichigo dies.
So true. Oh, and speaking of Ichigo, I was going to say, I kind of hope that we get to see more of, like, Ichigo's as a dark, edgy OC. I mean, we've had a lot of that, but I hope that we get to deal with more of it.
My prediction, I think I told you this, Kyle. My prediction, someone kills Orihime in front of him, and he goes berserk. He goes absolutely nuts.
He goes guts mode.
He nuts all over the place.
I don't know if he's going to do that after his friend is killed, but go off, I guess.
I'm telling you, I think that's what's going to happen.
I think, okay, at the very least, if not killed, like mortally wounded, I could see that. I feel like he's going to have a good fight with Okuora. Like, I feel like after fighting Rimjob, like, and Okuora comes back, Ichigo's like, okay, I know you're number 4. I still want to run the ones with you. I still want to. And Okuora will be like, all right, fine, I'm going to kill you. And then I think for once, I foresee Ichigo finally being like, okay, I can't hold back. I can't talk my way out of anything. Not that he has fully, but like, what I'm saying is, like, he can't just gimmick it. He has to fight, because sometimes that's what you have to do to protect the ones that you care about. Yeah. To finally give in and be like, yeah, I need to fight full force. I need to start going all out. I can't hold anything back, because if I do, I could kill a chicken in the woods. You could easily do that. Mishoku Tensei reference.
That's so true. Anyways, so any final little words here, Kyle?
I think I kind of said my piece with it. I'm liking Bleach. It's pretty good. I would say. I know I used to. Okay, up through. I don't remember exactly what I said, but my thoughts now. Up through the Soul Society, I'd say Bleach was above average. I'd say it's pretty good. Now, like, okay, now Kubo's cooking a little bit.
He's cooking with fire a little bit.
It's pretty good. He's cooking a little bit. It's Bleach is. I now understand, despite some, I don't have a lot. But like, despite some of my gripes with the series, right? I can understand why people enjoy Bleach a lot. Like I get it. I get the Bleach hype, guys. I understand.
He gets it. He finally gets it.
And I am looking forward to the next one, and hopefully we can do that one much, much sooner.
That's the idea, anyways.
That is the idea.
Well, if you're this far in the video, obviously there's something you like, so make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling us what your favorite fight from this section was. We will be back with Bleach at some point with Bookclub, and we hope to see you all then. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Bye-bye.
Bye.